Like, who the f*** you think I am? Boy, you better slap your fucking self and paying your ass shit. Fuck you talking about pay you $300,000. But do y'all see them though? Do y'all see them though? Do y'all see them though?
Crawford firing back at the WBC has stirred up big debate and added more heat to the situation. Before Crawford addressed the WBC's decision publicly, he highlighted what he felt were long-standing issues with how the organization handles its champions. He pointed out that moments meant to be straightforward often become reminders of bigger problems within boxing politics. As fans waited to hear his side, Crawford brought up an incident from his last fight that added even more weight to his frustration. He tweeted, "It's crazy that Chico Lopez had to deliver me my belt after the fight because was too ashamed to personally give it to me himself. But I should be thanking him for a bill. Okay, I'm done." As Crawford's complaints kept spreading online, many fans wanted the WBC to directly explain what happened. Mauricio Solomon stepped in and said Crawford simply didn't follow the required rules before or after moving to super middleweight for the Canelo fight. He mentioned Crawford earned around $50 million, and the WBC didn't apply the usual 3% fee. Instead, they agreed on a clear 6% structure for the event.
He did not comply with the rules. Then he moves up to super middle and makes the fight of the century, beats Canelo, makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000, with $225,000.
Solomon continued by explaining that the 6% fee came to roughly $300,000, with $225,000 directed to the Jose Solomon Boxers Fund, which supports retired fighters. He called it disappointing that Crawford didn't respond, apologize, or acknowledge the arrangement. According to Solomon, the WBC acted fairly throughout, and he said he felt relieved to finally share the organization's side while wishing Crawford well moving forward.
Going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need. And it is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route. No response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, it's great. It's about greatness, and I'm relieved, to tell you the truth.
Meanwhile, Ariel Helwani stepped in to explain the situation as confusion around Crawford's stripping continued to spread. Fans were trying to understand the timing, the fee dispute, and how the WBC handled the decision compared to past cases. With both sides sharing their own narratives, Ariel provided a clear breakdown of the sequence, helping viewers see how the issue developed before the WBC made its final call.
Terence Crawford became the undisputed super middleweight champion, that's 168 pounds, when he defeated Canelo Alvarez at Allegiant Stadium on Netflix. Well, it wasn't as short as when Alexander Usyk became undisputed champion after defeating Tyson Fury and the IBF took their title away, but it's just a little bit later. Here comes the WBC saying we're taking away our version of that belt, our piece of the pie. There it is, courtesy of uncrowned.com, the #1 unbiased combat sports platform in the world. Terence Crawford stripped of WBC title over sanctioning fees. A dispute between the WBC and their president, Mauricio Sulaiman, and one Terence Crawford. Sulaiman at the convention in Bangkok.
Helwani discussed Crawford's reaction after losing the WBC super middleweight title. He explained that Crawford took to social media to express his thoughts, sharing posts across X and Instagram about the situation. Ariel also noted the WBC had scheduled a new fight between Hamza Shiraz and Christian Mbili. Crawford used the opportunity to show off his collection of belts, highlighting his accomplishments and reminding fans of his championship wins.
In the midst of all of this, Terence Crawford went on X, aka Twitter, was a part of a massive tweet storm talking about all kinds of things. He did go on his Instagram, though, in case you were wondering how he felt about the WBC taking away their super middleweight title. And by the way, they ordered a bout between Hamza Shiraz and Christian Mbili, my guy, straight out of Montreal, which is not a bad fight at all, honestly. And who knows if it actually gets made. I would love to see that fight. Terence is the man at 168. He just beat Canelo, won that title fair and square. Anyway, here's Terence Crawford on Instagram kind of reacting to all of this. Great stuff.
But do y'all see them, though? Do y'all see them, though? Do y'all see them, though?
Ariel continued by describing Crawford showcasing additional belts, some still in packaging, to emphasize his achievements. He pointed out that Crawford has earned multiple titles from victories over top opponents, and that the missing belts didn't diminish his success. Ariel noted that Crawford appeared calm and unfazed by the WBC's decision, and he concluded by highlighting that Crawford's reputation and legacy now matter more than any single championship.
I'm missing two. Still in the plastic, don't worry about it. Y'all see them, though. Undisputed. Undisputed. That's Canelo right there, guys. That's Canelo right there. That's Spence right there. That's Ndongo right there. They just didn't put him on there. Undisputed. You see them ring belts? See them ring belts? Yeah. Yeah. Got another.
He doesn't seem too bothered. Yasidemdo. Yasidemdo. Doesn't seem too bothered by the whole situation. So there's Terence Crawford, and I suspect we'll see him back, and he has reached a point where it doesn't really matter what belt he's holding. He's one of the biggest stars in the sport, certainly.
After the WBC explained their decision, Crawford fired back publicly, questioning their reasoning and comparing them to other sanctioning bodies. He criticized the demand for higher fees and expressed frustration that they expected an apology. Crawford emphasized that the green belt doesn't define his achievements, calling it just a trophy, and reminded fans that his real value comes from the risks he takes and victories he earns inside the ring.
You know, I see Mauricio, got a lot to say about me not paying him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize? Like, who the f*** you think I am? Boy, you better slap your f***ing self and paying your ass shit. F*** you talking about pay you $300,000? What makes you so motherfucking better than any other sanctioned bodies? Huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you?
Crawford continued by highlighting that he's the one risking his life in fights, not the WBC officials. He argued it makes no sense to pay simply to carry a belt and suggested the organization should be paying him instead. He criticized ongoing fees over time and stressed that his dedication, career accomplishments, and legacy outweigh any demands, making clear that the title itself doesn't determine his true worth in boxing.
So since you, the WBC, and you got the f***ing green belt, which don't mean f***ing shit. The f***ing real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker. What are you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them? How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agreed to the same amount, but you sit your motherfucking ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you? You can take the fucking belt. It's a trophy anyway. The f*** am I paying you every time I step foot in the fucking ring?
After all the disputes with the WBC and his social media reactions, attention shifted to Crawford's accomplishments inside the ring. Fans and analysts began highlighting not just his recent super middleweight win over Canelo, but his entire career of championship victories. Ariel Helwani and other commentators emphasized how Crawford's achievements extend beyond any single title, making it clear that his legacy is defined by consistent success at the highest level.
But do y'all see them, though? Do y'all see them, though?
Y'all see them though. I'm not missing two. Still in the plastic, don't worry about it. Y'all see them though. Undisputed. Undisputed. That's Canelo right there, guys.
Furthermore, other fighters began sharing their perspectives. Lamont Roach, a respected voice in the boxing community, offered his take on the situation. He reflected on the financial side of big fights, the handling of sanctioning fees, and how title logistics often work behind the scenes. His comments provided insight into how fighters view such disputes in the sport.
Arena, and it is going to be the home of PBC pay-per-view on Prime Video, and 3 members of Team Roach will be making that walk.
It's tough.
At the
He made an insane amount of money. So 3% of an insane amount of money is a lot of money.
0.6%.
I think they lowered it for him, maybe, but it's, I mean, it's cool. It's not like everybody hasn't done it. Everybody's been doing it. So, you know, it just might be a hiccup or bump in the road, or just something that might start a revolution. I don't know.
How hard is it for you to write that check?
That is built to win, along with sponsored by
sadly, I make sure mine's come right out of my check. So it ain't like I'm writing it. I just like, okay.
Additionally, Showbiz The Adult addressed Crawford's social media outburst after being stripped of his WBC title. While acknowledging his personal relationships with WBC officials such as Mauricio Solomon and Chico Lopez, he stressed that his take would remain unbiased. He explained the context for viewers, outlining Crawford's recent fight, the title situation, and why the news had become a major topic in the boxing community, setting up a clear understanding for fans.
I want to first say this before I give my take. All right, on Terence Bud Crawford crashing out, making a huge statement on his IG, all right? It's breaking news. It's everywhere. And I'm going to catch you all up. Before I have my take, I want to first say shout out to the WBC. And I have friends on both sides, okay? And when it comes to me having my take, my unbiased take for the war room, which y'all expect, I have to push aside my personal relationships. Mauricio Solomon, me and him were like this. Chico Lopez, the ambassador of the WBC, we're like this. They've let me hold the belts. Those guys kept in great communication with me over the years. They love the war room, hit the Tyson Bear. But my take today, my take has to be unbiased, and it has to be for the people, all right? I'm going to have to side with Terence Bud Crawford on this one. Now, to catch you guys all up, Terence Bud Crawford was stripped of his WBC title. I believe he was also stripped of the WBA. He was stripped of his WBC title because he failed to pay the sanctioning fee from the WBC.
He detailed the financial aspect, noting the WBC normally charges 3% of a fighter's purse for sanctioning fees. For Crawford's $50 million fight with Canelo, they lowered the rate to around 0.6%, totaling roughly $300,000. Despite this accommodation, Crawford didn't pay the fee. Showbiz emphasized that failing to meet the WBC's requirements led to the title being stripped, even though the organization had tried to be reasonable and fair.
Mauricio Solomon, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have already caught up on this.
He did not comply with the rules.
Mauricio Solomon charging for a sanctioning fee, a percentage of what he usually charged for the sanctioning fee is usually 3%. I think for Terence Bud Crawford, it was 0.6%.
Makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000.
Terence Bud Crawford, he didn't pay the sanctioning fee.
Showbiz continued by explaining that the WBC expressed disappointment publicly as Crawford offered no acknowledgement or apology. He highlighted that while the situation was regrettable, it also underscored the rules and expectations within the sport of boxing. Despite siding with Crawford's perspective on certain points, Showbiz concluded by wishing him well, reinforcing that his commentary aimed to balance respect for the fighter's achievements with a clear explanation of why the sanctioning body took action.
Because of that, he was stripped by the WBC. but it goes further than that. WBC being upset, not respecting the move for Terence Bud Crawford, Mauricio Suleiman letting it be known all over social media.
And it is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route. No response. I wish him the best.
As the controversy around Crawford losing his WBC title continued, fighters from across the sport began sharing their perspectives. Isaac Cruz weighed in, offering his view on the situation. He acknowledged the rules and protocols that govern titles and fees, comparing them to other mandatory regulations like anti-doping measures. Cruz's comments helped provide context from a fellow fighter's perspective on why Crawford's case drew so much attention. He said, "My opinion on what happened this morning, that they took away the WBC belt for not paying the belt fee, well, it's something that has to be followed, like the anti-doping protocol with VADA. But well, he'll know why he didn't want to pay." Terence Crawford's dispute with the WBC has sparked a wide-ranging conversation about fairness, championship politics, and the role of sanctioning bodies in boxing. While the organization defended its rules and fees, Crawford's response highlighted his perspective as a fighter risking his life in the ring. The situation shows how boxing's title system can create tension even among the sport's elite. So, what do you think? Was Crawford justified in his reaction, or should he have followed the WBC's rules? Share your thoughts in the comments.